Well, hey everybody, I wanted to invite you to listen in on my new series that starts today. We're calling it Down the Rabbit Hole. My intention is to explore cases that you haven't heard about, but I think that you'd really enjoy digging into. I'm going to try to talk about these cases that are in the news so that you can join me in watching them, digging into them, reading everything that there is on the web, and going down the rabbit hole. Now listen, I'll also be on Court TV and News Nation commenting about them, so I hope you'll check me out on those channels as well. But today's case is about Hannah Payne, the 21-year-old woman who's now facing murder charges down in Georgia. Some people say she's a vigilante gone wild, while other people say she was only trying to protect herself from a felonious assault by a man who was going to hurt her. Now, the real issue in this case is whether she committed malice murder, like the state of Georgia is alleging, or she was a victim of a brutal attack and had to use her handgun to keep her from being seriously injured. So here are the issues that are at stake and the things that I want you to consider as this thing moves forward. Malice murder generally involves intentionally causing the death of another person with malice or aforethought. Malice aforethought refers to this intent to cause serious bodily harm or kill without some kind of legal justification or cause. Now, proving malice often requires demonstrating the defendant, Hannah Payne's, state of mind and the intent at the time that she committed the act. The prosecution's job is huge in this thing. They have to establish that the defendant's actions were intentional, deliberate, and carried out with a reckless disregard for human life. Now, on the flip side of the chart is self-defense, and Georgia law recognizes the right to use force, including deadly force, in self-defense under certain circumstances. I don't think anybody would disagree with that right to be able to protect yourself. But the use of force has to be reasonable, and it has to be necessary in order to protect oneself or other people from imminent danger or death or serious bodily harm. Now, the person that's claiming self-defense must not have provoked this situation. This is really important. The person claiming the self-defense must not have provoked this altercation and must have a genuine belief that the use of force is the only way that they can protect themselves. Now, legal challenges are going to arise where there's really a thin line between malicious intent and a genuine belief in self-defense. Frankly, I'm struggling with whether that really exists in this case, and I'm going to be looking for your comments as you look at this case a little deeper. The key considerations in this thin line might be the reasonableness. Was the use of force given under the circumstances reasonable? This is really crucial in malice, murder, and self-defense cases. You also have to think about things like imminent threat. In self-defense cases, the defense has to show that there was an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury, and that the use of force was reasonable in order to protect that person from the threat. And then this provocation thing is going to be really important. If the defendant provoked the altercation, it could impact that claim of self-defense. And this is really important to me. This is the hinge point in the Hannah Payne case. Now, Georgia's stand your ground law may also come into play in this case, allowing for the use of force without a duty to retreat in certain circumstances. You know, it is really important on these kinds of cases to consult with the local law in Georgia to make sure that we really understand the statutes and the relevant case law pertaining to it. And that's why we have to hear from the prosecution and the defense, hear what the jury has to say, and get the instruction from the judge who will say what they need to consider. Legal proceedings are incredibly complex, and the interpretation of laws can vary based on details and circumstances. Down the Rabbit Hole begins today at 1:15 Mountain Time, so I hope you're going to join me on this one. And please Hit the subscribe button so that you receive notifications on all of our videos. And make sure you're checking us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course here on YouTube. And by the way, folks, if you like podcasts, check out Profiling Evil Podcasts on your favorite podcast platform. Hey, we'll see you in just a couple of hours at the Hannah Payne crime scene.